Welcome back to Postmortem. I'm Stacia, and today we're jumping into part 2 of our deep dive into the Zodiac Killer. If you haven't checked out part 1 yet, what are you doing? Go listen to that first, because we covered the victims and some possible connections. Now, in today's episode, we're getting a little more personal with the known victims, breaking down some of those creepy letters and ciphers, and taking a look at a few of the top suspects. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's get into it. As we talked about in part 1, our first two Zodiac victims were Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday. Betty Lou Jensen was born on July 22, 1952, in Colorado. Her parents were Vern Marion Jensen and Virginia Lee Blinderman Jensen. She had at least one known sibling, a sister named Melly. In her early years, Betty Lou's family relocated to Vallejo, where she attended Hogan High School as a junior. She was recognized as an honor roll student, reflecting her dedication to academics. Betty Lou's best friend during this period was a classmate named Sharon. The two shared a close bond, often spending time together and confiding in each other. Through Sharon, Betty Lou met David Faraday, a senior at Vallejo High School. The pair began seeing each other secretly, as Betty Lou's parents were initially strict about her dating due to concerns stemming from her older sister Melody's early marriage and divorce. On December 20th of 1968, after receiving permission from her parents, Betty Lou went on her first official date with David. That evening, they visited Sharon's house and discussed plans to go to San Francisco as a group. However, after waiting for Sharon's boyfriend who was late, Betty Lou and David decided to leave on their own and go to Lover's Lane on Lake Herman Road. Betty Lou's life, though brief, was marked by academic achievement, close friendships, and the typical experiences of a teenager in the 1960s. Her untimely death remains a reminder of the unsolved mysteries surrounding the Zodiac case. David Arthur Faraday was born on October 2nd of 1951 in Vallejo, California, to parents Elbert Faraday and Jean Faraday. He had a younger brother named Robert. David was a senior at Vallejo High School, where he was known for his involvement in the school's wrestling team and participating in Boy Scouts, reflecting his active engagement in both academics and extracurricular activities. On December 20th of 1968, David and Betty Lou Jensen planned their first official date. They intended to attend a Christmas concert at Hogan High School, but their plans changed when they decided to visit a friend before heading to their popular spot at Lake Herman Road. That evening, both were fatally shot in what is considered the first confirmed attack by the Zodiac Killer. Faraday's life was short, but it was marked by his dedication to his studies, athletic pursuits, and community involvement. His untimely death alongside Betty Lou Jensen remains a significant and tragic part of the unsolved Zodiac case. Our second Zodiac victims were Darlene Farron, Michael Renault Majot. Darlene Farron was born Darlene Elizabeth Sunin on March 17th of 1947 in Oakland, California. She was the daughter of Leo Sunin Jr. and Norma Jean Hightower. She had a brother named Leo and a sister named Pan. Details about Darlene's early life and upbringing are limited. However, it's known that she was affectionately called Dee by those close to her. In her early adulthood, Darlene married Jim Phillips Crabtree, but the marriage ended in divorce. And she later married Arthur A. Farron, also known as Dean, on August 3rd, 1967. The couple had a daughter named Dina in 1968. Darlene was known for her vibrant personality and was a popular waitress at a local restaurant in Vallejo. She had many friends and was well liked by her patrons. Michael Renault Majot was born on October 29, 1949, in Vallejo, California. His father owned a pest control business in the area. Details about Michael's early life and upbringing are limited. He was 19 years old at the time of the attack. Our third victims were Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartnell. Cecilia Ann Shepard was born on January 1st, 1947, in Andhra Pradesh, India, to Robert and Wilma Shepard. Her parents were American citizens, and she had two sisters, Kathy and Caroline. The Shepard family later relocated to the United States, settling in Riverside, California. Cecilia attended La Sierra High School, where she was known for her friendly demeanor and active participation in school activities. After graduating high school, Cecilia enrolled at Pacific Union College in Angwin, Napa County, California, where she pursued studies in music. She was described as a diligent student with aspirations to make a positive impact in her community. Cecilia is remembered for her kindness, musical talent, and the promising future that was tragically cut short. Brian Calvin Hartnell was born on July 1st, 1949, in Walla Walla, Washington, to Calvin and Catherine Hartnell. He later moved to Vallejo, where he spent much of his upbringing. Details about Brian's early life and childhood are limited. He pursued higher education at Pacific Union College, where he was a student at the time of the 1969 attack. Following his recovery after the attack, Brian provided authorities with a detailed account of the incident, contributing valuable information to the investigation into the Zodiac case. He later pursued a career in law, and as of 2009 was residing in Redlands, California with his wife Monica and their two children. Brian's experience as a survivor of the Zodiac attack has been featured in various media, including a portrayal in the 2007 film Zodiac, where he made a cameo appearance. Paul Stein was the seventh and last victim of the Zodiac. He was born Paul Lee Stein on December 18, 1939, in Tarkio, Missouri. He was the youngest of three children, born to Earl and Eunice Stein. Paul's early life was rooted in Tarkio, where he was known for his academic diligence and musical talents. He graduated from Tarkio High School in 1957 and went on to attend Tarkio College, earning a bachelor's degree in English in 1961. After completing his undergraduate studies, Paul served in the U.S. Army for a brief period. Following his military service, he pursued graduate studies at San Francisco State College, aiming for a career in education. To support himself during his studies, Paul worked as a taxi driver in San Francisco. Paul Stein is remembered as a dedicated student, a talented musician, and a kind individual whose life was tragically cut short. Sherry Josephine Bates was born on February 4, 1948, in Omaha, Nebraska, to Joseph and Irene Bates. She was the younger of two children, with an older brother named Michael. In 1957, the Bates family relocated to Riverside, California, where her father secured employment as a mechanist at the Corona Naval Ordnance Laboratory. Sherry attended Romana High School in Riverside, where she was an honor student and actively involved in various extracurricular activities, including student government and varsity cheerleading. She was described as a sweet, outgoing girl. She aspired to become a flight attendant. After graduating from high school, Sherry enrolled at Riverside City College and worked part-time at the Riverside National Bank. She used her earnings to purchase a 1960 lime green Volkswagen Beetle, a vehicle she was particularly proud of. At the time of her death, she was living with her father at their residence in Villa San Jose. Sherry Bates is remembered for her academic achievements, vibrant personality, and the promising future that was tragically cut short. Sherry Bates' murder was not originally considered to be one of the Zodiac murders, but was later proved to be, making her the first official Zodiac victim. Over the years, many suspects have been investigated. The prime suspect was Arthur Lee Allen, a convicted child molester. Arthur's connections to the Zodiac Killer began on October 30th of 1966, when Sherry Jo Bates was stabbed to death at Riverside City College in Riverside, California. In late November of 1966, two anonymous typewritten Bates murder confession letters were mailed to the local police and newspaper. The typewriter was identified as being a Royal model with either Elite or Pica type. Allen was allegedly in Riverside the weekend Bates was murdered. The information placing Allen in Riverside was developed in 1971 by Vallejo Police Department and the California Department of Justice. Allen later hinted it was true, first claiming to have been in the area at the time, then telling people he was in nearby Pomona when he first heard of the Bates murder. Allen was employed as an elementary school teacher at the time of the Bates murder. By the time his employment ended in late March of 1968, Allen had used only one of his 19 available sick days. He was absent on November 1st, 1966. Initially, Allen attributed the absence to school business, but the school labeled it as a sick day. Did Allen actually kill Bates, making him miss work on November 1st because of facial wounds inflicted by his victims? During the execution of a 1991 search warrant, VPD seized a Royal typewriter with Elite type from the home of Allen. In late April of 1967, 3 anonymous letters referring to Bates were mailed. In 1970, Sherwood Morrill, head of the Question Documents section of the California's Criminal Identification and Investigation Bureau, determined them to be the work of the Zodiac. Each contained double the necessary postage, a Zodiac trademark. 2 of the 3 letters were signed with an unusual symbol. Some believe the symbol resembles a sloppy Z, others say it looks like a 32. At the time Bates was killed, Allen was 32 years old, and his permanent residence was 32 Fresno Street in Vallejo, California. And in 1970, the Zodiac would create a cipher that contained 32 symbols. At the approximate time the 3 letters were mailed, a desk was discovered on the RCC campus that had a morbid poem scratched into the surface, possibly referring to the Bates murder. In 1970, Morrow claimed the poem was definitely the work of the Zodiac. Other experts believed the condition of the desk prevented authentication. The poem was signed R.H. The president of the RCC at the time Bates was murdered was R.H. Bradshaw, a detail a stranger to the area probably wouldn't know. Interestingly, after establishing the moniker Zodiac, the only reference Zodiac ever made to the Bates murder came in a letter to the Los Angeles Times postmarked March 13, 1971. RCC, where Bates was a student, was founded on March 13, 1916. Timing his letters to be postmarked on a significant date was a Zodiac specialty, and the Times reference to Bates is another example of this. The Bates murder was initially merely local news, not likely to have gotten much exposure outside of the Riverside area. If Zodiac didn't actually kill Bates, which is a strong possibility, He at least had enough knowledge of the crime to produce anonymous confessions. A strong case can be made that the Zodiac had ties to the Riverside area, and Allen certainly did. To date, even though it was an item being searched for in the 1991 search warrant, VPD has not attempted to match Allen's typewriter to that of the anonymous confessions. According to his brother Ron, Allen was given a Zodiac watch as a Christmas gift from their mother in 1967. Allen's estimation of when he received the watch was July or August of 1969. The logo for the Zodiac watch is a cross-circle symbol, the same that was eventually used by the Zodiac Killer. According to the police statement, within days of receiving the watch, Allen is alleged to have made these claims to his friends, Don Cheney. Allen used the premise of writing a novel to communicate this fantasy. Cheney estimates the conversation took place on January 1st of 1969. Allen stated, he would like to kill couples at random. He would taunt the police with letters detailing his crimes. He would sign the letters with the cross-circle symbol from his watch. He would call himself Zodiac. He would wear makeup to change his appearance. He would attach a flashlight to the barrel of his gun in order to shoot at night. And he would fool women into stopping their cars in rural areas by claiming they had problems with their tires, then loosening their lug nuts and eventually taking them captive. Don eventually took this information to the police, and in 1972, the SFPD was able to secure a search warrant against Allen as the Zodiac Killer. Unfortunately, SFPD elected to search a trailer that Allen frequented in nearby Santa Rosa instead of searching his home at 32 Fresno Street in Vallejo, and nothing incriminating was found. According to a police statement and an early 1968 conversation with his friend Philip, Allen is alleged to have been fascinated with the concept of hunting people. According to Allen, people would be more challenging to hunt than animals, since they have intelligence. On July 31st, 1969, the Zodiac mailed a cipher to the news media. Within days, it was solved, and it stated that killing man was more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all to kill. Additionally, during a 1971 police interrogation, Allen offered the fact that, as a youth, he had read a book that had made a lasting impression on him. The book was called The Most Dangerous Game. It was about hunting a man like an animal. On June 15th, 1958, Allen was arrested by VPD and charged with disturbing the peace, the result of an altercation with an acquaintance, Ralph Spinelli. The charges were dismissed on July 8th, 1958. Zodiac would later taunt San Francisco Chronicle columnist Marco Spinelli in a letter postmarked July 8, 1974. According to statements to police by family and friends, prior to the publication of Zodiac's codes, Allen had possession of codes featuring identical symbols. Additionally, Allen was known to use the same unusual spelling and phrases as Zodiac letter used, such as spelling Merry Xmas with 2 S's instead of 1, and saying trigger mech instead of trigger mechanism. Allen would intentionally misspell words to be funny. In a 1969 letter, Zodiac used the term busy work with 2 S's, which is also jargon used by elementary school teachers. Prior to his termination in March of 1968, Allen had almost 10 years of experience as an elementary school teacher. Despite its negative ramifications on his life, Allen continued to wear a Zodiac watch until it was seized during the execution of VPD's search warrant in 1991. When Allen was fired from his job as the elementary school teacher in March of 1968, it was for molesting a student. This was Allen's second career failure. In 1958, he was less than honorably discharged from the Navy after 2 years of service. With no source of income, Allen moved back home with his mother and father at the residence on Fresno Street. According to friends and family, Allen hated his mother and felt inferior around his father. Certainly being a child molester didn't help Arthur's status around the house. He began gaining weight and drinking heavily, eventually taking a part-time job as a service station attendant. By winter, Allen was in a downward spiral of depression and alcohol abuse, most probably amplified by 2 major stressors, his birthday and Christmas. The apparently motiveless Lake Herman Road murders occurred on December 20th of 1968, just between Allen's December 18th birthday and Christmas. Profiles indicate serial killers are more active in areas that they are familiar with. Allen was living only about 7 minutes from Lake Herman Road and had an explosive temper. It was known to park and drink alcohol in rural settings such as Lake Herman Road, and always carried weapons in his car. In the 1991 search warrant execution, Allen owned the same type of ammunition used to kill the victims of Zodiac's Lake Herman Road attack. Zodiac's Blue Rock Springs attack of July 4th of 1969 was the second within 7 months to occur on the eastern outskirts of Vallejo. This time, Zodiac was only about 4 minutes from Allen's house. The male victim, Mike, survived the attack and gave police a description of Zodiac's car, a brown in color, possibly Corvair, and at the time, Allen had a friend, Philip, who was trying to sell his brown Corvair. According to a police report, Philip's Corvair was parked in front of a service station in Vallejo, where Allen had recently been employed, and the key was inside the office. Philip had occasionally allowed Allen to drive the Corvair. The possibility exists that Allen either had a key to the car or to the service station where it was parked. Additionally, there are potential connections between Blue Rock Springs victim Darlene Farron and Allen. In 1966 through 1967, Farron worked as a waitress at the International House of Pancakes on Tennessee Street in Vallejo, less than a tenth of a mile from Allen's home. About that time, Allen is alleged to have told Don Cheney that he was fond of a waitress from that restaurant. Also, according to a police report, an unidentified male named Lee was known to associate occasionally with Darlene. Allen was known by his middle name, Lee, and until Lee is identified, the possibility exists that Farron might have known Allen. In 1971, Allen's father, Ethan, died. That date was March 17th, which was also Darlene's birthday. And it was yet another occasion when someone close to Allen died on a significant Zodiac date. According to a police report, in mid-1992, surviving Blue Rock Springs victim Maxot picked Allen out of a VPD police lineup, saying, "That's him. He's the man that shot me." On September 27, 1969, Zodiac used a foot-long knife with a sheath and rivets to attack a young couple at Lake Berryessa. Allen, an outdoorsman, frequented recreational areas such as Berryessa often, trapping game, scuba diving, and camping. Allen was familiar with the area, and he told VPD Sergeant Lynch in an October 6, 1969 interview that the day of the attack he was going to go to Berryessa, but went up the coast instead. Allen first used a mysterious couple from Treasure Island as an alibi, but could never produce their names or phone number. Later, Allen attempted to use a deceased elderly neighbor as an alibi, claiming his neighbor William White had seen Allen that afternoon and that the two had a conversation. At this time, another William White, a ranger from Napa County, was all over the news as a spokesperson on the Berryessa attack. Allen's neighbor White died within a couple of weeks of this alleged encounter. During a 1971 police interrogation, Allen admitted to having possession of a bloody knife the day of the Berryessa attack, claiming he used the knife to kill a chicken. Allen's physical appearance and voice were the same as Zodiac's. According to surviving Berryessa victim Brian, he had been taken to see Allen at his place of employment by a DOJ representative in the mid-1970s. The Zodiac left a size 10.5 footprint at the crime scene, and according to a police report, Allen wore a size 10.5. In the 1991 search warrant execution, the VPD revealed Allen owned a foot-long knife with a sheath and rivets. To date, even though it was an item they were searching for, VPD has not attempted to match Allen's knife to the wounds of the Berryessa victims. Allen's home was searched and his handwriting analyzed, and yet nothing definitive tied him to the case. According to a police report in 1991, Allen's old nemesis, Ralph Spinelli, came forward to VPD claiming that just prior to the Stein murder, Allen had admitted he was Zodiac and would prove it by going to San Francisco and killing a cabbie. After killing Stein, Zodiac took his wallet, car keys, and a portion of his shirt. In no other attack did Zodiac take items from his victims. It is a matter of fact that Zodiac did, indeed, prove he was Stein's killer, and he did so by including scraps of Stein's bloody shirt in the subsequent taunting letters to the news media. One such letter was postmarked November 9, 1969, and contained a bomb diagram. Ingredients for the bomb including ammonium nitrate, fertilizer, and gravel. Zodiac claimed in the letter that the bomb was being stored in his basement, and that his killing tools were acquired through mail order outfits. In 1991, the search warrant executed by VPD revealed Allen had, in his basement, handwritten diagrams for bombs comprised of ammonium nitrate, fertilizer, and gravel. Also found were mail order catalogs for bombs, guns, and booby traps. On August 28th of 1992, VPD obtained a search warrant against Allen and found many interesting items. VPD has been extremely secretive about the results of this search. The objective was to seize a videotape Allen had in his possession that was labeled with a Z. The exact contents of the video have never been revealed, although VPD said there was no confession. So do you think Arthur Allen is the Zodiac? If you would like to take a look at the detailed timeline of Arthur Allen, make sure to jump over to our Instagram page, postmortem-podcast. And this brings us to the end of part 2. Join me back in part 3 as we discuss a few more of the suspects in this infamous case. And until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and stay vigilant.